If it means saving the future and his friends on the Legion, will Superman be able to work side by side with Superboy Prime? Well, let's find out together, shall we, as we hop into the pages of Superman issue number 29. So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, we're actually given a nice little refresher course on the long and storied history of Superboy Prime. Basically, he came from a world not unlike our own, where he grew up idolizing Superman, becoming a super fan, until eventually he developed superpowers himself, and well, it was all kind of downhill from there. He became a crisis villain, caused a lot of death and destruction, and genuinely acted like a huge prick. In fact, when he talks about all the stuff that went down with him in the Jeff Johns story during the events of Death Metal, he refers to it as his redemption arc, and how he helped defeat a fake Batman. Take that, Batman who laughs. He was even lucky enough to be returned to his world that had been completely restored in his absence. The only thing he never got was a real true blue team-up with his beloved Superman, which is exactly what Time Trapper Doomsday has offered him, a team-up of a lifetime and the chance to save the future, something he is actually uniquely well-suited for, as he technically exists outside of time. Darkseid and his Dark Legion will not be able to easily track him like they've been tracking Time Trapper Doomsday. In fact, Time Trapper Doomsday must take his leave right now, as he fears that he may get cornered by the Dark Legion. Want to know what happened after that? Go read Justice League Unlimited from this week. Now, understandably, Superman is really slow to trust Superboy Prime, and why shouldn't he be? As he puts it, you're a multi-time murderer. Oh, but ever the genre-savvy type, Prime is sure to play the, oh, well, am I really a killer when all the people I killed are back alive? Now, that was like 2 Crisis reboots ago, man. Let it go. Fearing he has no options left and that he might very well need the muscle, he agrees to this devil's bargain. Superman and Prime will go to the future to rescue Booster Gold and hopefully undo all the evil that Darkseid has planned. Now, how exactly are they going to get to the future? Well, that's actually the best part. Time Trapper is gone, meaning that the only way forward is for Prime to punch the walls of reality, something that he famously did once before. Careful, man, don't punch it too hard. You don't want to bring Jason Todd back to life again. It's after that we're treated to a very cool page as the two end up transcending time and space, as we see a mosaic tapestry of amazing moments from possible past, presents, and futures, including Superman Red Sun, and even a little Kingdom Come. It's along the way, too, we also discover that all this messing around in time ever since the events of All In mean that Superman and the rest of the hero community have completely forgotten who Booster Gold is, or the fact that they sent him on a mission in the first place. Well, now that just feels like an allegory for DC Creative forgetting about Booster Gold and who he is for years at a time. Surprisingly, Superboy Prime is actually very confident about their victory in the future, saying, yeah, I know what's gonna happen, we're gonna go there, we're gonna fight the Dark Legion, they're gonna corner us. But then just when it seems like all hope is lost, a bunch of different versions of the Legion of Superheroes from across time are gonna come together and save us, and it's gonna be a sick-ass splash page. I've seen it all before. Only too late does he realize when the two Supermen make it to the future that this is not that kind of story, and his genre savvy isn't gonna help them this time around. Apparently there was already a full-blown Legion war in the far future, and the good guys lost, and lost hard too. The ground is littered with dead. Superman is horrified, and Prime once again just cannot shut his damn fanboy mouth. Oh man, normally they don't kill this many characters this quickly. They're really going for shock value in this one, which understandably spurs Superman to say, oh my god, these aren't characters, these are my friends. The people I trained with and learned from as Superboy, the people who taught me that the future would be bright and worth defending even in the darkest of times. Now they're dead, the future is devoid of hope, and the few Legionaries who are still alive, like Cosmic Boy, now a full-blown cosmic man complete with his own PTSD if we're being honest, are all that remains of a once great legacy. Superman and Prime get taken back to the makeshift base of the few Legionaries who are still left alive, and they're just barely holding on by a thread. As we learn via Brainiac 5 and several other additional Brainiacs, the Dark Legion have been operating out of the old-time authority and using its power to jump around. It's also almost certainly where they're currently keeping Booster Gold, so if they can break in and get him out, there's a good chance they can break Darkseid's stranglehold on the future. In order to do that, though, Superman is going to have to give an impassioned speech to try and rekindle the fighting spirit of these Legionaries who have been so thoroughly broken down. Once again, Superman talks about the power of legacy and what an important part of his own legacy the Legion of Superheroes are, and how much he wants to try and help them in their time of of need. And that no matter how hard Darkseid tries, he won't break this great chain, so long as they all stick together and fight side by side. Together, the heroes all begin to sneak their way into the Time Authority. And surprise, surprise, they don't actually end up running into much interference. It's right around here, Superboy Prime ends up having another one of those fanboy thoughts, as he loudly proclaims that he's discovered a plot hole. If Cosmic Boy can use magnetic powers, then why did we find him digging graves with a regular shovel when we showed up, unless that's not Cosmic Boy? And surprise, surprise, it isn't. It's actually Chameleon Boy of the Dark Legion, who inserted himself as a sleeper agent to try and get close enough to our heroes to attack, which is exactly what he ends up doing. It's also here we're reminded of the other big reason Time Trapper chose Prime: to assist Superman in this very important mission. When Superman fights the Dark Legion, he cannot help but see the faces of some of his dearest friends, meaning that he's not going to react when he needs to. Prime, on the other hand, has none of these warm, fuzzy feelings, meaning that if he's asked to kill he will. Eventually, the good guys manage to spring Booster Gold, who gets Superman up to speed on everything that he's been doing since he's been trapped here. Apparently, when they thought they were sending him to the Absolute Universe, they were actually sending him to the far future, and he's been here for at least 2 full years that he knows of. That's horrifying, but what happens next is equally horrifying, as Superman and his ragtag team end up coming face to face with the rest of the Dark Legion. Evil Saturn Girl goes on a whole spiel about Darkseid's great plan to corrupt the future, and in doing so, destroy the past, sever Superman's relationship with the Legion of Superheroes, and in do so, take away his hope, break him down piece by piece, before eventually moving on in for the kill. It's a hell of a speech, and one that Superboy Prime actually ends up liking way more than Superman's from earlier, as he puts it, hey, if you can't beat him, might as well join him. And so that was Superman issue number 29, everybody, and I gotta say, this is another really strong offering from Joshua Williamson. I've been on the record before as not exactly being the hugest Legion of Superheroes fan, but I really dig how they're being used here as this very important, rarely mentioned stepping stone on Superman's own journey to being, well, the Superman we all know and love. It's probably why pretty much the entire Superman family of books right now have really been bending over backwards to again reestablish that connection with the Legion and their importance. Hell, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm actually really enjoying Superboy Prime's use in this story too. It's like he's finally reached his true final form as ultimate fourth wall breaking comic book know-it-all. I mean, hell, at this point he's so self-aware this all might end with him starting a comic book review channel. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one another very strong 8.5 out of 10, and I'm interested to see how this will all shake out, not just in the main Superman book, but in a lot of the different DC books coming out right now.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.